All right.
Welcome, everybody,
Welcome.
to our real estate investing mastermind.
That is true.
We're so excited for all of you folks to be here tonight as we get the PowerPoint up and on the screen here. We will be showing you our contact information. My name is Ray Fleming. This is my partner, Joseph Smith. We are the co-founders of Wise Guys and Ties, your one-stop solution for real estate investing, business credit, personal finance development, and all the above. I guess we should just say that we solve all world problems.
Through real estate investing?
Through
And business ownership?
Yes, and personal finance empowerment.
Hey, there it is. It's up on the screen now.
Okay, so
Now, I wanted to let you know I didn't put any disclaimers in here, but you still need to give them.
oh, okay. So disclaimers: do your due diligence. Just because we're here and we are wise guys doesn't mean that you just run out and do everything. Make sure you have an accountant, make sure you have an attorney, make sure you have a CPA or a legal advisor to make sure that the state you're in, the jurisdiction you're in, the business that you're in works for in that situation. When we're in the setting, we're general, this is all general information. And so for your specific situation, it requires a little bit more attention. But we can definitely help you with that as well. But these trainings are general information for you.
And then also a Renatus disclaimer. You are an ICM.
Oh, yes. So we both have affiliate marketing agreements with many different organizations, but one that we're going to talk about tonight in the realm of real estate is called Renatus. I do not work for Renatus. And even though I talk about Renatus, I cannot legally bind Renatus to anything. However, I've used their services, and same with Mr. Smith here, with success. So we like to tell other people about their services. And if we tell other folks about their services and they just happen to join in, we may receive a commission off of that. So it's kind of like a refer a friend type situation. But if you're also interested in that as well, we can definitely hook you up with that. You know, if you find something that you like, create a win-win situation.
Awesome. All right. Well, Ray, this is Real Estate Investing Mastermind number 6. Forgot to put the number 6 up there. But let's play ball.
Woo! All right.
Why are we saying let's play ball?
Because the new theme, baseball. Who doesn't like baseball? Baseball is a wholesome family game. And so our real estate investing masterminds are going to follow somewhat of a little bit of a theme. And so what is the very first part of our real estate investing mastermind tonight? We have the first pitch. So how do we actually make we need to actually, that's all right.
Too late.
You guys are just going to have to chime in the comment section below, because we're going to start off tonight with a little bit of a test. Are you able to hit it? We'll find out and see. So equity is what? What is equity? Is it the amount that has been paid down on a mortgage loan? Is equity the amount a property has increased in value since the purchase? Or is equity the discount below fair market value? Or is equity the difference between the value of the property and the amount that is owed against it?
We'll just call that like A, B, C, or D, right?
Yeah.
So make it easy for people to answer.
Next week, we'll probably have a poll set up. Whoever didn't do that, they're fired, man. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so we'll have a poll set up, but let us know in the comments, A, B, C, or D. Which one do you think it is? All right, so Jessica, she's already chiming in. He's locked in his answer. And so folks that are in the mastermind, feel free, hop on in. What do you think? A, B, C, or D, or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, let's go with A, B, C, D. That's the easiest. This is a little bit tricky, Joseph, because in the beginning, oh man, you just might not be sure. And let's hop over. I'm going to take a look over here at.
Well, what's interesting is there's really only one answer that makes mathematical sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's a lot of people who could easily make a mistake if they have never been exposed to this before.
Absolutely.
But the right answer is D, the difference between the value of a property and the amount owed against it, right? So if the value of the property is 100,000 and you only owe 80,000, you would have $20,000 of equity. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But Ray, why don't you tell people, where does this question even come from?
Well, so great. That's an excellent question, Mr. Smith. So this comes from a class called the Real Estate Foundations. And now the Real Estate Foundations course is essential to your real estate investing career. This is a course that both myself and Joseph took, and we found so much value in it. That's why we're sharing some of these tips and tricks with you. Now, this is not just some short little class. This is 39 segments. It's almost 6 hours long of some serious content. And the guy, let me tell you about who's actually teaching this. His name is Hugh Zaretsky, and he's a successful real estate investor. He's trained over 10,000 real estate investors. He lives out in Manhattan, and the real estate there is definitely not cheap. That is for sure. Now, so he's invested in single family homes, multifamily homes, commercial real estate, and he's been training investors and other Renata students for over 12 years now.
He's really big into nightly rentals now.
Yes, absolutely. So vacation rentals, short-term rentals. Now, he was also a published author. He co-authored books with the Renata CEO, Bob Snyder, and many other successful real estate investors. He's also taught and trained licensed attorneys, real estate agents, brokers, mortgage brokers to think like real estate investors as their continuing education, really. That's some really powerful stuff. Now, we're going to dive into a little bit of the concepts tonight, but I wanted to let you know what's in this because this is a vital course.
So this course is called Real Estate Foundations.
Real Estate Foundations. And this is when you're wanting to get into real estate investing, you're looking to really develop yourself as a real estate investor. So key terminology, concepts, market types, transaction, the mechanics of that, really every particular, every foundational thing in real estate, everything that you would be encountering as a real estate investor. The best method for building your team. We did a video on your power team and building your team a couple weeks ago. Professionals, identifying common leads or analyzing deals. There's just so much to this, but if we just take a quick little look at some of the chapters that are in this, that we're going to be going, spending some time as we revisit this class, we'll go over some other aspects of it, but it all starts with a pre-assessment.
And they already saw one of the questions from the pre-assessment.
Yeah, so something similar to that. If you already know that, that's fantastic. The great thing is after pre-assessment, then you're able to evaluate where you are, how much you learned throughout the course of the class. So a little instructor background and introduction to him and a little bit more about who he is. But starting with the 7 or 8 financial assumptions, let's see here. There's why real estate, the reality check, goal setting, ready, aim, fire, pillars of investing, key terms, talk like an investor, starting your business, the market, knowing your local market, best opportunities, building a team, finding leads, keywords, sources of finding real estate, the Renatus iOS system, organize your business, real estate strategies, analyzing deals, after repair value exercises, CMA questions, pillars of investing, conventional hard money, what's the difference and other ways to finance, making offers, selling, different types of sellers, escape clauses, which are powerful, how to get out of those contracts, close and escrow, taking your action and getting started now in overcoming your fear, the do's and don'ts, really, and then all wraps it up with a post test. It's pretty powerful stuff. And what I like is it's in these little sections, so you can always go back and review and keep where you were.
The next segment that we're going to be covering is called Base Hit. Woohoo! This is where Ray's going to take one of those 39 segments and bring it to you.
What are we going to cover today?
Well, first of all, you have to get on base, right? You got to hustle. Get all the way. Come on, safe. All right, so go ahead and click forward. We're going to be talking about ready, fire, aim.
Well, that sounds backwards.
Shouldn't it be ready aim, or
Yeah.
or aim, aim,
Maybe
fire?
we'll go to the whiteboard for this one. So
All right.
we kill that, and we'll go to the whiteboard. Let's talk about that. Ready, fire, aim. All right, folks. Does that sound a little bit weird to you? Now, if you're a hunter and you or maybe you're an enthusiast, you're thinking, well, that's not the way it works. So ready, fire, aim. Now, why do we say this? Anybody out there? Why is this going to become your new strategy as a real estate investor? Ready, fire, aim. So we're gonna be talking about getting ready. So we're gonna help you get ready to start making offers, get ready for that real estate investing path and that career that you want to go down.
But why don't you want to aim before you fire? That doesn't make sense. Why would you fire and then aim? That seems silly.
Well, let me ask you this, folks. Is it easy to find a good deal right now? Is the market doing well? Or is the market in a standstill? Let us know. What do you guys think? What your local market, your real estate market, where do you think it's at? Do you think it's still climbing up? Are houses staying on the market? Are houses still selling? Is it a standstill? You know, there's a lot of things that are on pause right now, but are houses still selling? That's a good question. So if you're chime in the comments.
Jessica says the market is stable.
Yes, it is. I mean, I know where we are in Southern Arizona and Tucson. It's pretty stable. Houses.
Oh, I thought she was saying like it was in a stable, like where animals are, where it stinks. Oh no, she means like it's steady. Oh, okay, I get it.
So right now, especially where we are, there's not a lot of inventory. And when there is no inventory, houses still are selling. There's a lot of folks that are still moving here. There's still plenty of places that are open for business. And I'm seeing houses sell typically less than 30 days right now.
Yeah, if you want to talk about days on market, you want to talk about price values, then I would agree with Jessica that the market is stable. However, troubling signs of places around the country that have been shut down and lots of people who are out of work create some market insecurity or instability. However, the housing market always lags behind the actual economy or the real market.
Now, so who knows what will happen in a couple months from now? Until there's a surplus of inventory, the market's not crashing anytime soon until all of a sudden there's a new influx of properties. When will that happen? Not quite sure. It just depends. I mean, if you would have asked me 6 months ago if we would be where we are, I'd be like, I would have lost that bet.
You mean you didn't see the whole COVID-19 thing?
No, totally lost that bet. So Lee says, you know, taking action is the most important, because that's really what it is. We're getting ready. And then, yeah, without taking action, you're not going to go anywhere. So let's just start firing at stuff. Now, this is what's really important about having the ways of getting out of your contract. I know nowadays there's pretty much, if something hits the market, if somebody's looking to buy or sell, I mean, we're firing off offers, just firing it out there. And if they snag it, so that's what we're doing. We're firing those offers out there. And if somebody snags it, then what? Are we locked into that? Do we have to pay them right then and there? I mean,
yes. No.
No, guys. Yes. So, I mean, that's one of those things. If we are firing them out there and then they accept it, they want to get this done, well, let's go open up escrow. And then what? How much time do we usually have? What are you going to put into your contracts? You could have, you could easily build in right now 2 weeks, 15 days. You could even extend it out further. Use the current situation to your advantage. And I think that I've seen contracts right now where they are asking for 30-day inspections, which I think is a little crazy. But also, if you're trying to buy yourself some time and get yourself out of this, have some ways of getting out of a situation or a contract, I should say, then you're buying yourself some time. Oh, with the current state, you don't know how long it's going to take to get an inspector in that house. So right now, not all inspectors are actually actively doing inspections.
But what is it that you always say when someone says, "Are you interested in a deal?"
Yes.
Well, there's more to it than that. You say,
I'm just interested.
you say, "Yes, I'm always interested until."
Until we're not. So, and it doesn't matter where it is, because I was talking to somebody earlier today and they're like, well, what about, a property here in this state? Yes. Well, what about like a development deal over here? Yes. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's a $5,000 trailer or if it's a $5 million apartment complex. I'm interested until we're not.
What would make you not interested?
Well, that's when, we'll take a look at it and analyze it very quickly.
That's the aim
Fire
side
it.
of it?
Yep. No. I'm gonna just if there's something here, I'm gonna fire something off. I'm gonna come up with the best thing I can really quick, fire it off, and then we're gonna start to analyze it.
And that's the aim side. That's what it
Yes.
said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Correct. So then we're
Yes.
gonna start to analyze it. So then you have time to actually imagine if you were hunting and you found whatever that let's say you're fishing. Imagine if you could actually hook the fish and then take a look at the fish to see if you actually wanted to reel that fish in. That's what you can actually do in real estate. You can hook the fish and then see if you actually want to reel that fish in. And since we're talking about baseball, imagine that. So if we're talking about baseball, you got a pitcher, right? And I'm over here and I'm wanting to hit that ball. So it's almost like I could watch you pitch me that ball, and then after I watched the pitch, I could decide if I wanted to hit it. It would almost be like a real life instant replay, and then I knew exactly where that pitch was coming, and I could choose to hit it or let it pass. And I would know if I was either going to have a strike or if that potentially was going to be a home run. That's where the aim comes into play, and that's what's so great about this, and what's so great about having the right contract is you can watch that pitch. And if you don't like that pitch, you let it pass. No harm, no foul. Maybe and then, or you can hit it and knock a home run. And that's the difference between doing it this way. You're going to be able to beat everybody else out. And also, that's how you're going to be able to actually make sure that you back yourself into the right deals. That's the best way to kind of.
Well, Raul says, look at the deal until the numbers don't work.
That's right. That is absolutely right. All right. So what else we got? We got Lee says all of his are 30 days with the option to close earlier. Yeah, that's good stuff. 30 days with the option to do it earlier. All right, folks. So any other questions as far as like why we would do this, how we would do this?
Well, we're now back onto the PowerPoint.
Oh, well, that wraps it up for. I got my taskmaster here. He's got to keep me on track, or else we start going down rabbit holes.
The next segment, on deck. What's on deck?
Well, let's see, Joseph. What is on deck for tonight?
I don't know. You got to get ready, warmed up, right? A 4-bedroom, 2-bath house on 40 acres, asking price $140,000. Is that going to be a deal or a no deal?
Ooh.
Well, we need more information.
Well, right. We don't even know where that is yet.
So,
and judging off that picture, I mean, it could be a good deal or not.
So we're definitely going to be evaluating this property. That's what's coming up. But first, we have a public service announcement, right? We've got the 7th inning stretch. Oh, yeah. We're just really flying through this game. All right. We could sing, take me out to the ball game.
Take me out to the crowd.
There you go. All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and tell our folks where they can learn how to do what you do, the property guy.
All right. So if you are wanting some more, because each and every week, we're going to be coming with you with some new and improved trainings and different things like that. But some of you folks are like, hey, I need more and more content. And you guys keep mentioning this whole Renatus thing. What is Renatus? Well, let me just tell you real quick, if you have any interest in getting into real estate investing, this is probably one of the easiest and best ways to go. It's called the Essentials. We talked about this, the real estate foundations. And like I said, if you go back on the YouTube channel, you can see some of the other segments we've covered in past weeks. And so we also have self-directed IRAs with Matt Sorensen, learning how to leverage retirement accounts. Is this a powerful class, Mr. Smith?
It's for us raised $736,000 in
And
less than 2 years.
And we've used that for
Buying 5 rental properties and doing about 12 flips in that time.
So that's kind of a cool thing. We learned how to use other folks' retirement accounts. So they have nest eggs that they've been saving up. Learn how to help somebody else turn their nest egg into, well, actually, let's hatch those eggs and turn those into more properties.
Golden gooses or golden geese that lay golden eggs.
Now look Matt Sorensen up. He's a phenomenal individual, has the best-selling author book right now on self-directed retirement accounts. We also have Chris Albin. He teaches the real estate red flags, pitfalls, and how to actually avoid those things and mistakes.
Well, this is like Raul was saying. This is the numbers class. This is the math class.
It is.
Of the education where you learn to really run the numbers. Because we don't buy real estate. We don't buy houses, right?
Right.
We buy the numbers.
The numbers don't lie.
And the numbers is so important that it's a book in the Bible.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Now, so what about tax and legal? It sounds kind of boring, but this is 14 hours of a comedian, attorney, CPA, who basically will show you ins and outs of everything that you never would have even thought. This is literally my favorite class, and it will change your entire life.
Over 400 different write-offs.
That's powerful stuff. That's having your children basically become tax write-offs. Creative acquisitions. This is 7 ways of acquiring properties without using any of your own money or credit.
Yes.
Deal of the decade. This teaches you how to find discounted deals before anybody else will through the probate system, legal system.
I like that one too.
Yep. And so Hugh Zareski also has a class on marketing real estate.
Actually, I think they subbed this one out now.
It is. It just swapped for the negotiation.
No, negotiation.
Yeah, good call. So actually, negotiations.
With Bob Snyder.
Which is very, very important. Credit management teaches you how to maintain your credit worthiness, saving you money, and how to borrow personal credit funds. And also velocity banking. So we talk about this on Tuesday nights. Mm-hmm. We refer to it as credit banking, banking on your credit strategy. So if you haven't plugged into that mastermind yet, on Tuesday nights, make sure you get into that.
Yes.
So this is the essentials that Renatus has. It's over 60 hours of education, weekly group coaching webinars.
Weekly group coaching?
Oh, yeah, I totally skipped over that.
With one of the instructors?
Yeah, you get weekly group coaching with a Renatus instructor every single week. $24.97.
That's it?
That's it. Well, actually, it's only for the life of the company. So actually, you get to take those classes as many times as you want.
And so it's a live campus where they are continuously updating all of this courses so it stays current with the laws and what's going on in the market.
Yep.
And I can retake it as many times as I want to.
Yep. You and another person.
What?
It actually comes with 2 logins.
No way.
So you can actually go along with
somebody. I could split that cost with somebody.
And then so the accelerated investor training, this is if you want to take your game to the next level. So lease options, short sales, notes, deeds, liens, fix and flips, multifamily properties, commercial properties, 11 different full day bonus tracks, including a course on
business credit.
Yeah. And short-term rentals, all sorts of good stuff. I recommend you guys go over to myrenatus.com and check out some of these instructors. These are phenomenal individuals who in their own right have their own businesses who are very successful. Garrett Gunderson, Gary Cannon, Christian George, Chris Wilson.
I've got 7 of those people on my speed dial.
You're just bragging now.
No, I'm saying that's how generous they are. They give out.
A lot of these folks are here in Arizona too, but their strategies apply all over the country. Man, man, there's just too many to keep going over, but 46 full day classes, over 300 hours of training. There's also profits courses, really driving sales for your business, system automation, social media, and also your champion life. This is a kind of like a nutrition, health, and wealth class.
So you're saying that, so it's not just real estate investing and setting up my business and tax, saving my on taxes, but it's also, there's a whole marketing component. What do I need marketing for when it comes to real estate?
You gotta be a good marketer to be a real estate investor. And then of course we also have students that are all over the country, live local meetings, webinars. They're happening every day of the week, really. So you might be asking, okay, essentials, that's 200,497. There's the profits. There's also having the essentials and the profits. There's the extreme plus and the epics combo. The
Oh
epics
my
combo.
goodness.
And then somebody might be thinking, well, like, holy smokes, that's a lot of money, right? Well, actually, most people actually just kind of start with the essentials.
Well, where did you get started?
Well, I bought the whole thing.
You're crazy, man.
That
$28,000.
was me, though.
You know where I started? I started over there on the essentials.
Yeah,
And then I bought the whole thing.
There's nothing wrong with that, though.
I was so blown away. I ended up buying the rest of it. It was so amazing.
See, the thing is, if you start in the essentials, you're going to realize that you're going to need more. And it's a la carte. So you just add on as you need it. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I learned business credit. I learned, when I started my business, I learned about write-offs and self-directed IRAs, but then adding in the business credit and then the infinity banking with Garrett Gunderson. I mean, there were so many other financial strategies. All the seller finance notes. There's now 3 days of that course.
That's amazing.
When I started, it was just one, but now it's blown into a full 3-day course.
Which on the deal tonight, we might be talking a little bit about that.
That's maybe why I mentioned it.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that deal that we analyzed tonight. All right. So also, Renatus offers in-house billing, because you might be wondering, how on earth am I going to pay for this? Well, if you wanted to start in the essentials, $400 down payment, $116.54 a month.
No credit check.
No credit check.
Just put 20% down and then make monthly payments.
Yep.
That's
Guaranteed.
easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Now, of course, if you bring your own financing somewhere else, a credit card or whole life insurance policy, 401k, you can always borrow loans against that. There's a lot of creative ways to acquire this, but you get a discount if you bring your own financing to the table.
Wow, that's great.
Now, how to get started? The essentials, the advanced combo, extreme plus, or the extreme plus combo. There's so many different ways to get started. Just depends on.
So you could go take these classes live in Salt Lake City, or you can watch them live as the stream them live.
Yep.
Or you can just watch the recording at any time you want.
Yeah. For example, like I usually learn best at night. The day is so crazy, and so what I just started doing is after 9 o'clock, after I get the kids to bed, when I would end up just watching Netflix or something anyway, I would just pop on a class for an hour.
Well, myself, I have an hour and a half ride into the office, just one way. So I'm always popping in listening to a class, and for me, in any given day where I'm here at work, I can get 3 hours of studying just on my drive.
Man, that travel time, you'd think we lived in LA. All right. So your greatest return on investment is an investment into knowledge and that pays the best interest.
Next segment is the closer.
The closer.
What does the closer do? The closer comes in and he just wins the game for you, right? He's going to go and he's going to shut down the opponents. Yes, awesome. But what we're talking about with closing is, look, we're closing off talking about Renatus, right? So go ahead, and we want to go ahead and click forward.
There we go.
We have a live follow-up this Saturday. So if you've got more questions, you're interested, you want to learn a little bit more, you're like, this is interesting, because there are many ways to get this paid for. Yeah. We go over a lot of financing options. There's a ton of ways if you're creative where, look, if real estate investing is your thing, you want to become like the property guy over here, then don't let money hold you back, right? Well, there's always a way to get it done. So if you want to learn more about this education, want to learn more about how to get started, get funding, you want to learn about different income opportunities, then make sure you register. Go ahead and text the letters REI to 602-497-2257. Again, that's text REI to 602-497-2257.
All right. Good stuff, though.
All right, yeah. Now it's time for the final segment, everybody's favorite segment, the bottom of the ninth. It's the bottom of the ninth. Score's tied. There's 2 outs. It's time for the big one.
Yes, it is.
All right, click over. It's time for deal or no deal.
I like it.
All right. So I'm going to have to turn my screen over to you. Is that what I need to do?
Let's make sure that I got this up here for you. All right, let's take a look at this deal. Let's see what is going on. And am I in Zoom? Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and share. I'll go ahead and share my screen right now.
Go ahead and try it. See what happens when you do.
Oh, you have to stop sharing yours.
Oh, I have to stop sharing mine. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Stop sharing mine.
There we go. Now what I am going to do is I am going to share.
We appreciate you dealing with all of our technical difficulties as we put this together. This is so exciting, brand new.
All right. Yes, it is brand new. All right. Let's pull up.
Deal or no deal?
All right. So this is the information that we got so far, folks. And I have a little bit more information, but we're going to kind of go through the process here to really find out and evaluate where we're at. So this property is located at 6175 South Rush Road, and this is in Rush, Colorado, 80833. Now this property is situated on 40 acres, and they are asking $140,000. And we got to figure out, is that a deal or no deal? Now, let's take a look here. I already did a little, all I did was search it in Google, pull up the address, and we have some old photos of it that we can take a look at. All right, so here is the property. Bring up these pictures for you to see. Okay, there we are. Now, 40 acres of land. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, 1,900 square feet.
That information's a bit dated. It is a 4-bedroom. At the time that was being sold, the bedroom was being finished off.
Excellent.
So it's a 4-2.
4-2. So it's a 4-2. So possible owner carry. This was one of the original. This was a listing a while back, but we're going to fill you in on where it is now. So move-in ready, no maintenance, metal roofing. So it's looks like it's good to go. Oh, here, optional 4th bedroom. There we go. Just need some finishing touches. All right, so let's take a look. This was built in what year?
73.
1973. So anybody, let me ask you this, folks. So if you're in the webinar, you're on YouTube, have you ever looked into financing for a manufactured home? Anybody ever looked into financing on this? Does anybody know what those cutoffs are to get funding for this? And especially on a 40-acre property. So as we take a look at some of these pictures here, so it does get a little bit of snow. Obviously, we're in Colorado. A little bit dated.
Jessica says no, she's never tried to get financing on a manufactured home.
All right. That's all right, though. Appreciate that feedback. So anybody actually look into it? Anybody gone down that financing route?
I have.
So we got like a fireplace in here, some wood paneling. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty dated. Yeah, oh yeah, look at that bathroom. That's awesome. What else we got here? But all in all, it looks okay. So there's another bathroom that they've been working on. And little shed.
3 sheds on the property.
Like a bus of some sorts. There's another room that they're adding and building. Okay. All right. So that's what we got to work with here, folks. $140,000.
It's a metal roof, metal siding, by the way,
Metal roof.
in case anybody was wondering.
All right. So let's pull back up this situation. Now, when we were looking at this, I figured that this thing is only worth about $90,000. That's really where we came.
That's true. It's only worth 90,000.
Yeah, it's only worth $90,000.
But the homeowner seems to think that because of all the work that they've put into the property, that it's worth 140,000. You ever encountered that? Anybody who's in the real estate world where the owner is $50,000 overvaluing their property?
Oh, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Now, so
Jessica says, well, isn't it the land that's really worth?
it is. I mean, that's pretty much all that this is actually worth is the land. So that'll be the next kind of difficult part is what is the land actually worth?
Mm.
So that's one of those tricky things. But where do we go from here? Where do we start? What do we do with this? Any ideas, anybody? Because I know where I would kind of go with this.
Well, I mean, there's the adage where there's the price that they want, then there's what it's really worth. And sometimes if you don't take the time to really talk to the owner, try to get on the same page with them and understand what we're talking about here. If you know it's only worth 90,000, they're going to be insulted even if you made a full price offer. Even if you don't make a full price offer, you go lower than that. I mean, it's just going to be ugly. So if we can all agree on what the property, should comp for, and that's where we can start to get, once we're on the same page, what we need to do, what happens most of the time is that it ends up being seller versus buyer. And we get locked into who's going to win. And what we have to do as real estate investors is get out of the competition frame of mind, and we need to reframe it as a collaboration where how can we work out a deal where you win and I win?
Right. So anybody, any ideas? Because what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of start diving into what we are looking at and how we would kind of tackle this.
Well, let me answer your question that you asked earlier because you didn't get an answer. Is there financing available for manufactured homes? No, there is no. You can
When
get
it's this old, yeah.
Well, if it's a brand new house, you can get financing on a brand new house, but immediately when you go to resell it, there's almost nowhere that'll do that. There are some places, if you're in a big enough city and there is a big enough manufactured home area within that city, where there might be some lenders that will lend on a resale of a house that's still fairly new.
Yes.
That's a very rare
Now,
exception.
the tricky part is when it starts to have a lot of land as well. When you have a property, and this could even be a real house on a lot of property, that becomes another financing struggle.
So the Jessica asked about water, sewer, and electrical. It's on a well. There is a little stream that runs through the 40-acre property as well. And in terms of electrical, there's a line of electricity that's run out to the property from the main road.
So if we can't fund this with a traditional bank, what are some of the other options for non-traditional lenders?
Always pay cash.
You could pay cash. What if we don't want to pay cash? What if we don't have $140,000 to pay for this? Oh, is this just no deal then?
It could be no deal unless people can think outside the bank.
What are some other options here? What do we got?
Jessica says, what about a hard money loan?
All right. So we got that option. So here, let's throw a couple options in here. One option would be a hard money loan. So a hard money loan is usually a short-term loan, high interest short-term, but we'd be looking at how we're going to get out of this. What would we potentially, we could flip it, I guess.
Well, also keep in mind that hard money is, okay, so there's a loan to value quotient. So the loan to value for hard money is going to be at best around 50%. So you still have to bring a lot of money to the table.
So if we're purchasing it, there's, we could potentially, I mean, if they're gonna look at the value at 90,000, and then they're gonna give 50% on that,
Right.
which would be about, so the hard money
45.
could give us about 45,000.
And that would be for 6 months at maybe 12% with 2.
Yeah, I mean, if we had some other funding in place, I mean, we could get some other funding from somewhere else potentially.
Mom, is mom going to lend money?
Maybe. I mean, we talked about self-directed IRAs, but maybe if we don't have that, what if we don't have that in place? Line of credit. Okay, I like where you're going with that. If we had some funding. I like that. Potentially we could have access to lines of credits. But let's say that we're just starting out, and I don't know. I guess it really depends on the situation. Yeah, we could have a line of credit that could purchase this. What other financing options? Does anybody see any financing options where you have some, you know what? How much debt is it? Is there a loan existing on this right now?
No, the owner owns it free
So
and clear.
there's no debt on it currently. The owner owns it free and clear.
So right there, if that would automatically say that you have 2 options right there. Well, I just even named a third, right? You have 3 options right there. You could do an option, right? You could do a seller finance note, some type of owner carry, but a specific type of owner carry available would be the contract for deed, since he owns it free and clear.
There you go, Mr. Smith. He's helping you guys. So like Rose says, you could do something with that land. Absolutely. Absolutely we could. We got to get something with that land. So let me see. What else did Mr. Smith say?
Contract for
deed. Are you on
deed.
YouTube too or not?
No.
Oh.
You've taken over my screen. My screen is a slave to your computer now.
Oh. Am I?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, give me 1 second, folks. Where's your thing? There you go. Hit the escape.
There you go. Okay.
There. All right. So USDA loan. Hey, okay. That's thinking outside the bank.
Yeah, Lee Buys AZ Home says owner financing.
All right. So USDA loan. I like that. So yeah, there could be some financing in the farming realm, or is that USDA? US Department of Health?
Yeah, they have some real estate type of things. If say the land can be grazed,
Nice.
pasture,
Nice.
land. There's some
I don't
definite.
know too much about that, but we got to look into that. I got to. All right. So Lee said, what did Lee say? Lee said a seller carryback.
Right. Well, he said the best option is private money. Owner financing is what he was suggesting.
Okay, so a seller carryback, owner financing. So folks, a lot of option, or I would say that, in places that are rural, that have a lot of land, a seller carryback or seller finance note, it goes by a lot of different terms. That typically will be the #1 strategy of purchasing it. So for example, like Texas has so much open land, ranches, and it's very hard to get loans on these types of properties. So a lot of what ends up happening is they sell with a seller carryback or a seller finance note.
Yeah, I mean, any place where there is manufactured homes, and somebody wants to sell, and some places, the manufactured homes, the newer ones today, they're so nice, they look like real homes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, whether it's brand new or even if it's dated, there is no current funding options for somebody to purchase. So someone has to come in cash, or you have to do seller financing. So with seller financing, that opens up a world of possibilities.
It does. Now, if we go back here to this listing, there was a key word, possible owner carry. So in there, there's a possibility that the owner is willing to become the bank. That's really what an owner carryback, a seller carryback, a seller finance note is. It's the owner becoming the bank, and they would be the ones that would extend that loan to the purchaser. And so that's what we really were thinking about when we came across this. We're like, okay, if there's something to be made here, is that person willing to take payments? And so I'm going to pull up a spreadsheet that we started working this up, but I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. And okay, so here's a spreadsheet that I was putting some of the information into. And so this is actually 4 bedrooms, right? 4 bedrooms on 40 acres. And it was built in actually 73. 1 story. And so this is kind of where we kind of got down to with the buyer. It turns out that that's what they're asking. They're asking $140,000. However,
Never gonna get it, never gonna get it.
right. Through educating them on what is it actually worth. Just because somebody wants something doesn't mean that that's actually what it's worth. It really comes down to what is somebody actually going to pay for it. Running comparable market analysis on it, looking at the price of the land, looking at the price of that structure, it really comes back to about $90,000. And that's after it's all repaired. Quite frankly, it isn't even worth that much in that condition.
You got to imagine there's a lot of deferred maintenance.
Oh, absolutely.
On that 1973.
I mean, realistically, I only want to pay what, $40,000 for this?
Well, the offer that I made was 47,
47,000.
which was rejected. But if you think about it, I mean, I wasn't the only offer that was made because we always submit 3 offers. But we did have an offer where we will pay you what you want, but we set it up in terms of seller finance notes. So if you want the money that we're offering, you can have it on your terms. But if you want the money you're asking for, then you're going to have to get it on our terms.
Which is a very powerful statement, because through this, we were able to show that, hey, if you want $140,000, you can get you $140,000, even though it's not worth that. Can still get you $140,000, like Joseph said, if you want to accept our terms. Which, if I were to say that, okay, Joseph, only worth $90,000, I get you $140,000 if you're willing to work with our terms.
Yeah. Well, I need to know what those terms are.
All right, perfect. Let's talk about that.
Raul says owner financing and sell off part of the land with another house built on it and get most of your money back.
I like that. That is a great exit strategy. That is an awesome. Yeah, you could definitely break that up.
Absolutely. In fact, you could probably break it potentially into 10 parcels.
Easy, yeah. So this is what we looked at the offer. So figured, okay, land at about $60,000, the building $26,000, giving us a total purchase price at $86,000. Now, this is where seller carryback comes into play, because now it's not necessarily what's the price, but the down payment and the monthly payments. Does that fit their needs? The person that is selling this property, is that?
Well, they're in a pickle.
They are.
Because nobody's going to buy it for 140.
Right.
No one's going to come up with even 86, which is what it's actually worth, because there's no financing in place, meaning somebody would have to bring $86,000 of cash to the table.
Right.
So since there's no real option for them to get that money, they're actually forced into a seller. If they need to sell it, they're forced to do some type of seller financing.
So this is what it would look like. willing to give them a 20% down payment. So that makes them think, hey, we're serious about this. $17,200. That's what we're gonna put into this. That means we're serious about this. And what does that mean? That means that they will carry back a mortgage. They will have a lien against this property. If we were to not pay them, not only do they get to keep the $17,000 we originally paid them, but they also get to foreclose and take the property back.
We're not going to let that happen.
Well, right, we wouldn't let that happen, but that's their security.
Right. They're in first lien position.
Now we're also cover the closing costs of getting all this done. So total initial investment, $21,500 if we were to structure this deal. Now, okay, so we have to come up with the $21,000 down payment.
I think I could get cheaper on the closing cost than that.
Yeah, we could.
But okay, we'll go with your number.
We could definitely get cheaper than that. But I mean, probably around 2%. Oopsies. Actually, if I'm going to do that, then I got to change my equation. Boom. There we go. 2%.
There you go.
That looks better.
We could get it done for that.
So the initial cash investment is $18,920. So let's look at this. If we are looking at getting a loan for $68,800, that means if we would do is make payments to them over 15 years, every single month at $697.82. Now, this is a loan. Does the bank that you are getting a mortgage from have to fix the leaky faucet?
No, but I'd like them to.
Right. Do they fix the water heater? Do they do anything actually?
They collect money.
They collect money. They are not responsible for anything except for just getting paid. And so that's something that we can tell this homeowner, hey, look, this isn't a rental situation. You are literally becoming the bank, and every single month you will have a check in the mail or a deposit into your account for $697.82.
You know, one of the things I think you forgot to mention is that in this deal, there was already a tenant in the property.
Ooh, yes, there is a tenant in there.
And they're paying $700 a month already.
So the tenant is already in there. Yes, that is very true.
And so that's another reason why it's attractive, because would you like to sell it and still keep that cash flow coming? You know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad you brought that up. You know, we got kind of wrapped up in the numbers. So that changes the game a little bit too, because that also makes it a little bit harder to sell. If you already have a tenant in place and you have an agreement with that tenant, trying to find somebody to buy that typically has to be an investor.
And this tenant's been in there for 4 years. Yep. So there's some stability there.
Nobody has though. Nobody has if it was rentable.
Well, now they know.
Okay, so if we know that it's already bringing in $700 a month, then it just covers it though, but we don't have any cash flow off that. Nope. So, and then if we're renting it, we're responsible for everything that goes wrong.
True. And right. I don't live in Colorado, so you'll have to make the house call at 2 a.m. to fix the toilet.
Right, so there's going to be management. Well, I mean, that is kind of bringing us back towards it isn't a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But
because if we pay for management, now it's costing us money instead of us making money.
That's right. Now they were open to this. They're open to this idea, $68,800, because if we do the math, let's pull up a calculator. So we got $697. Let's pull this up. So we got $697. Are you able to see my calculator? Yes,
no.
Yes, you are. $697.82.
Yes.
And if we make 180 payments, that comes out to $125,607 plus what was our initial down payment? $17,200. All right, let's go back and add that into here. So then we're going to add in the $17,200, giving us a grand total of $142,807. I'm going to throw that in our notes here. So if we're looking at $17,200 down plus, let's zoom in a little bit. Plus, what is it, 687? I click this. You have the land sell off to cover any cost. Absolutely. So Raul says you have that land you can sell off to cover any extra costs. That is very true. All right. So if we're at $17,200, that's our down payment. And we are going to be also giving them 600 and, what is it? What was that amount? 697. Oops, 697 and 82 cents. 697 and 82 cents. Basically, that is every month for 180 months, which is 15 years. That is going to come out to a grand total of 142,807. Does that satisfy that homeowner's needs? I mean, they had it rented, so they were getting some monthly cash flow. Now they don't have to worry about it anymore, and now they can sit back and collect money. And they're making this at what percentage rate?
9%.
9%.
So they wanted 140, and we're giving them 142.
Now, let me ask you something. Anybody on here, I mean, is there any place that you can guarantee a 9% return on your money right now?
A 9% return
That you can
guarantee.
guarantee it, besides real estate?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Because that's a question to them. Hey, if you know, what are you even going to do with all this money? A lot of this comes down to how much do they actually need right then and there. Many times people don't really need a lot of money. They're looking to more get rid of a problem. Some people, of course, need to sell it and buy something else. But if somebody is already using this as a rental property, it makes you wonder, what are they actually going to use those funds for? And giving them an opportunity to invest in a property that they're already familiar with.
Well, I mean, you're now starting to go deep into the weeds, because once they have the note in place, if they need money, they could actually come back to us and we can buy some portions of their payments back from them. And so they could turn their note into a little bit of an ATM.
All right, so we're going to be here for like another 5 hours explaining how that works.
Well, I mean, in Renatus, remember I talked about there's a 3-day class on seller finance notes. That's really awesome, because once you realize that you can make a note, sell a note, buy things with notes, then you can take the notes themselves and sell them because they have value. And then when you go and you buy or you sell a note, you don't have to buy all of it. You don't have to sell all of it. You can sell a portion of it. So somebody can keep, let's say they really do want a lot of the money on the back end, but they just need, say, their daughter's getting married and they need some money to help pay for some stuff up front. They could catch out part of their note, but while still keeping the back end of the note. That makes sense?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Okay. So it's currently rented for $700 a month.
Mhm.
But now we're picking up a $700 a month payment if we were to do this. And we're outlaying $17,200. So what could we do from this point though? Because this is only half of the way there. You know, we still, okay, so we got it where we could get into this for $17,200, but it's going to cost us $700 a month. There's a tenant there that could cover that $700. What's another option from here? Now what can we do?
Well, okay, if we're going to sell this, then we'd have to, if we would consider potentially moving, if we moved the tenant out, there'd be so much rehab that we'd have to do to bring this up to speed. And this is like, I want to say like 2 hours outside of Colorado Springs. So this is kind of out there in the boonies. So there's not a whole lot of people to market to. So seeing that the total number of people to market to is rather low, I would say that your best bet on selling this house would be to the person who's currently living in it.
Okay, if we were to turn around and sell it, yeah. Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
they're 4 years invested in this property, but this property is just a rental to them, not actually theirs. So you
Right.
have to sell them on the pride of ownership.
And Jessica says, we could potentially rent the land out.
Yeah, subdivide that out and put other, yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But you got to realize that because this is so rural and it is far away from a nearby town, that your days on market are going to be longer.
That is very true. But I like these ideas, though. These are actually really good ideas. I like these. I like that idea.
Rent to farmers, absolutely.
Rent to farmers.
The
Absolutely.
USDA loan they were talking about, if you could bring in cattle farmers,
I was gonna say, yeah, you could have
ranchers.
some of that, you could use some of that land to kind of as a transfer statement or a temporary holding for livestock. I'm not quite sure what the requirements would be on that. Maybe you have to build some type of fencing, stables. I'm not quite sure what that looks like, but that definitely is an option.
Mhm.
That definitely, it could be a horse. You could ultimately,
Well,
you could repurpose this for a million different things.
the property is fenced in on 3 sides.
Fenced in
Because
on-
remember, there's the main road,
Right.
which isn't fenced. That would need to be fenced, but then you could do, this is also horse property. A lot of people who,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, it could be a business, or you could start a horse boarding business.
exactly.
That could be a really cool thing.
Mhm.
I mean,
And with
there's
40 acres, you could create a training ground where horses could run around and,
but what about me? I'm here in Tucson. What could I do with this thing? Like, can I make any money off of this? Like, if I'm here and I don't want to spend a whole lot of energy and time in this, is there any money for me to make?
for you as an investor in Tucson, I would, if you got a note in place and you're into it for 17.2, could you turn around and immediately sell it and make your money back with put a little extra, dough in your pocket?
See, now, if I lived in Colorado, I would try to do something, create a business around this, do something with this. But me being so far away, I might just try to flip it real quick, like you just said. Now, how could we flip this? If we already got somebody in there paying $700, like you said, who would we go to first that already is familiar with it?
Well, the
Go
owner.
to them.
Right.
Go to them first. What could we offer them? So somebody's in there, they've been in there for 4 years. They like it, what is the dream that most people have?
Yeah, I said that earlier. We got to offer them the pride of ownership.
Pride of ownership. Excellent. But how much would that cost them?
Well,
Are we gonna say, hey, it's gonna be $140,000?
mm,
Because then they're gonna be like, what?
well, right. So whenever you're dealing with seller finance notes, you deal with terms and not the price, because the price is irrelevant. It really is. So you sell to terms. So you would say, because you want to make money on this, let's say you want to sell it for 100,000. Well, you're not going to tell them that I'll sell this to you for 100,000. You'd say, hey, listen, you put $10,000 down, right? And then you calculate what that's going to cost you in terms of a 15-year note at 10%, let's say. Was that 900 and something? I'd have to look.
Yeah, let's look it up. Okay, so we're looking for a sale of $100,000, but that's not what we're really telling you.
No, we're saying
I mean, they're gonna-
$10,000 down and $900 a month makes this house yours. And they'd be like, well, wait a minute, but I'm currently only paying 700, right? But you don't own anything at any point, right? I mean, at this point, they've been in there for 4 years. I would have to go, I don't know if they're month to month or something, but there's also it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Listen, I am going to sell this property. I want to sell it to you, but if I can't, I'm going to bring somebody else in. And then this person has to consider the thought of uprooting, moving, all that goes into that. And so they have to weigh that with, well, why don't I just own this place? Why we've been here for a while. Let's just make it ours.
Okay, so let's go back up here and let's look at this. So what we're gonna do is, this was where we originally came up with this, our purchase, our cost, our down payment. So we will set up a very similar note. Let's set up a similar note.
Raul says, so marketing to renter, to rent to own.
Absolutely, yes. That's where we're going with this. Absolutely. So let's move this over here. Now let's look. Okay, so let's create a new one, a new note. Or we're gonna at least craft a note. So $100,000 would be the purchase, but remember, that's not what we're going to be advertising this as. We're not going to be saying, hey, buy it for $100,000.
No, we're not selling to price. We're selling to terms.
We're going to offer them
$10,000. $10,000 down.
So closing. Let's correct this. Let's get, change this here. Let's do 2% closing. So their initial investment would have to be $12,000, or we could split the closing costs.
Right.
We could always split the closing costs.
Right. Everything's negotiable. But when you do that, if you go back up, let me see, and just look at your note here. 15 years, right? Did you have that in there?
Oh, I got that down here. So
okay.
Here, 15 years, 180 payments.
There you go. Yeah.
We bump it up to 10% interest.
967.14.
That'll give us a 967.14. 967.14. So let's go back to our notes. And so $967.14. So get this. We're gonna offer this house for sale for. Have you folks ever seen those signs? You know, house for sale, $10,000 down, $967 a month, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom.
Right.
So instantly somebody's going to be able to say, can I afford that or not?
And so if I can't get a deal with this homeowner, there's a roadside sign that's going to go at every stop sign, 10 miles up the road, 10 miles down the road, for this property here.
Yeah, so like Jessica and Raul both said, so marketing to renter for the rent to own deal. Yes, really, that's what it is. It's a lease with the option to purchase, basically. Mm-hmm. Because we already have a note in place. Mm-hmm. That means that we're going to have to actually set up a lease with an option. Now, if we had purchased this outright or had some other financing, then we could.
Well, if they exercise the option, then we have to change everything into what's called an all-inclusive trust deed.
Right.
Or what's it more commonly known as?
Many people just call it a wrap.
Right. So but the title company will take care of that. $967 payment will come in. They'll put the $700 towards the first lien holder,
right,
and then $270 to you, the second lien.
Okay, so let's look at that. So, because is that a lot more reasonable than saying $100,000? Now, if you're thinking, hey, look, I like that idea. I mean, I'm gonna buy that. 40 acres with a house in Colorado, $10,000 down and only $967 a month, and I don't have to go through a traditional bank.
No.
I could be self-employed.
Yes.
I could have my own little business.
Well, I'm going
to run a credit check.
We're going to do a credit check and make sure that you don't have a history of evictions and stuff like that, foreclosures.
Because then we just have to start the foreclosure process in 2 months.
Yeah, we don't want that. But as long as you're fairly stable, because I mean, you don't have to have a 700 credit score or whatever. I just want to make sure that you pay your bills. What your credit score is going to tell me is whether or not you pay your bills on time. That's really what I'm going to learn.
Now, by doing that, we can build into the contract that this is, with a lease with an option, they're starting that pride of home ownership.
Right. And what really secures this, the reason why I'm not going to be worried too much is because they're going to put $10,000 down. Mm-hmm. And that is forfeit, meaning if they stop paying, well, we keep $10,000. That's ours.
So we got $697.82. But, actually, let's do it the other way. So if we set this contract up, we got on a monthly basis, $967.14 minus the payment that we have to make. And now, like we said, this will all be taken care of in the title company. The lease option, so the person that's currently there, the end buyer, is basically going to make their payment to the title company. The title company would send off the $697.82 to the other note holder, and then the remainder would get cut over to us.
Right.
And so
It's going to be approximately 270.
697, 82,
So 690, 669.
669 and 32 cents.
That was close.
Yeah, that's really good. Now, what do we have to do for this monthly payment of $669.32?
What do we have to do? What?
So we're going to get this on a monthly basis for what? For how many months?
For 180 months.
So we're going to get that for 180 months. And the total would be what? Let's do a little calculation. So if we get 269.32, then we're going to multiply that by 180 payments. Oops.
18 payments.
No, that's not what we. Joseph, stop messing with my calculator. $269.32. Come on, where's Raul? Raul's fast on numbers. He's got to beat me.
He had to go to the bathroom.
I'm slacking today, Raul. All right, so that works out to $48,477.60.
You have to minus $7,000.
All right, so what's the difference?
Or 8,000 minus 8,000 because we split that closing cost.
Okay.
So minus.
So you bring a good
18,000.
So we're putting $17,000 down. 200.
But we're going to get 10,000 back.
But yes, we're getting this $10,000 here. Getting that.
I remember when I first learned how to use a computer.
Isn't that exciting? Learning how to use a computer. All right, so let's do that. Here we got.
But then you also spend $1,000 on the closing costs.
17,200. But
and you also spent $1,000 on closing.
10,000 for 10,000. What we're gonna get back equals 7,200. Oh, but we got to add on another $1,000 that we spent. I can actually add on another.
You said equals. You meant to put plus.
Oh. Plus another $1,000 equals. So this is going to be our total investment.
You have to subtract that from the 40.
After everything is kind of said and done, our total investment is going to be $8,200. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, let's go down here. So if we're gonna have to invest $8,200, but by doing so, we actually end up getting, what is this?
You're gonna make $40,277.60.
$40,277.60 profit
over 15 years. So if you divide that by 15 years, you'd know what your profit per year is.
Now it would take, if we're making, it would take, a little bit of time to make our money back there, but we could divide that by 15 years, and that equals what? Boom.
$2,685.17.
All right. Did that make sense, everybody?
Per year.
Per year, that is what we will be making. That's what it averages out to. So that is one heck of an investment. Really.
It is.
You're able to kind of move that stuff around. This is the power of like notes. Now, remember, we're not really responsible for much at all. It's just working this deal, getting it set up, getting the contract set up. And this is what you would actually call the passive income, where you did the work one time and then it's just running itself. Now, of course, could something happen and then you end up having to get involved and resell the property. But remember, they put $10,000 non-refundable back into this, and they're making their payments. So worst case scenario, you put it back on the market and do it again. There's nothing wrong with that. But
Any questions, folks, for Ray,
any
the
questions on
property guy?
But I like that. I like doing it like this. You know, I'm not there, but I'm not going to let that just run away. We could structure something and, you know, spend a couple of weeks putting this together. And over the next 15 years, it's gonna make me 40 grand.
So if you outlay $8,200 in cash, you're going to make on that $269 and things.
But if you think about what you'd actually have to do to make a constant cash flow of $269 a month, I mean, you're going to have to manage a rental property to get that.
Right. Well, right. Jessica wants you to calculate the ROI.
All right. We can calculate the ROI. All right. So the rate of return. So if we're looking at that, let's calculate the rate of return. Now, so this is what we're basically making on a yearly basis.
You divide that number by 8,200, and that's your annual ROI.
Divide that by 8,200. Close. 33%, folks. 33% cash on cash return. But what that also means is that in 3 years, you would have made all of your money back and continue after you made all your money back
for another 12 years.
For another 12 years, making a 33% return every single year on the money you already got back.
That's awesome.
That is amazing. That's a great investment. Now get this. If you borrowed that money and you're basically paying them, you know, you could partner up with somebody on that. Split it 50-50. And what would they be making? They would be making a 16% return every year. And you still are making 16% on money that wasn't even yours.
I mean, I talk to people all the time who have money that they're saving up in their 401k, and they don't realize that they're a potential investor right now. What if you could pull out $8,200 out of your 401k? Is your 401k growing at $2,685?
Well, get this, even better. Can somebody get a guaranteed 8% return right now?
8%.
8%. So get this. Why don't you borrow $8,200, or, you know, you could short-term borrow more and pay it back or whatever. But, you know, there was a lot of ideas, lines of credit, things like that. But at the end of the day, getting a loan for $8,200 and setting that up with somebody and giving them a guaranteed 8% for 15 years. A loan, which
That's
means.
Right. So Raul brings up a good point. He's like, couldn't you sell part of the note that is $40,277.60? Yes.
Absolutely.
That's what we're talking about. You can turn your note into an ATM. Now you typically you're going to catch that out at a discount. So it's not going to be dollar for dollar. So it's probably going to cost you 50 cents. Like imagine if the ATM fee is like, it's 50% of whatever you pull out. I don't know if I want to.
Raul, you just brought up a very, very good point. A very, very good point. Would somebody buy this entire note? Would somebody buy this for $16,000?
Of course they would.
Somebody buy it for $16,400.
I'll tell you. Let me pull out a calculator here.
How much would somebody actually pay fair market value right now for this note?
Oh, give me a minute.
Now, Joseph.
And let's say they want to make like a 12% yield. Okay.
Right. So yeah, Raul, I love where you're going with this. That's what, yeah, $4,000. And if we didn't want to wait that 15 years, we could get that money today. We could sell off that note. All you need is that first payment. That's all they got to do is make that first payment, and then you can sell it.
You could sell the note off for $18,000.
$18,000. Imagine that. $10,000 in 2 months. Literally, you spend a month putting that up, and then you execute it, and then you sell it off. You can keep the cash flow or put $10,000 in your pocket.
Or you don't even have to sell the whole note, right? You could sell for like $6,000. You could sell off like half of the note.
You
And
could get 8,000 and then pay somebody else off, and now you just have free cash flow, infinity.
Right. So you could get your money back off of the note, and then you still get so depending on how you sell part of the note, you can sell part of the monthly payment, or you can sell X number of payments. So you've got 180 payments. You could sell 90 of those payments.
So say we had a $20,000 0% business credit card,
Okay.
and we did this deal, and then we basically paid back that credit card when it was still 0% interest,
Mhm.
and now we pocketed.
10,000.
That sounds impossible.
No, it's seller finance notes. It's why you know why Jeff Armstrong and I are best buddies.
But that's the power of real estate investing, folks. Man, who knew that when we started this, it was going to turn out to be so exciting?
But it still doesn't necessarily mean it's a good deal. Because I mean, let's bring up a couple other things to consider. Do you live in Colorado?
That's a great question.
Right? Do you want to be responsible for paying for a property manager? Now, if you're going to turn around and flip it like this is really great. But if you're going to hold on to it, right, there's some risk involved there.
There is.
Which is why notes are bought at a discount, because there's risk for the note paying out full term. Do all notes pay out full term?
They do not.
So there's risk involved there. So you gotta understand the numbers look good if somebody pays out the note for the full term. What if somebody pays you off early? There's no prepayment penalty. And if they pay off the note early, then what do? You're not going to make as much money. You'll get your money back. So you got to kind of balance this.
That's something else to think about.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to launch. It's out there for you to decide, folks. Is this a deal or is this a no deal? There's no real right or wrong answer. I mean, if I lived in Colorado Springs, I would say this is a deal for me. Right? I want you to know I made an offer on this property. So I obviously thought there was a deal there to be made. But right now, if you're in right now the webinar, we have a poll up right now letting you choose if it's deal or no deal. But if you're on YouTube, go ahead right now, either put deal or no deal. Because we bring this to you folks because we run the numbers and we look at it in several different ways. Is this a great rental? I'm not so certain that this is a great rental because I don't live there. But is this a good way to set up a seller finance deal to purchase the property and then set up another seller finance deal to sell it and then pocket money really fast? Yes, if you can put that all together, that would be amazing. I would say it would be a deal. But I mean, there's a lot of different factors. So right now we're split 50-50 in the mastermind, but there's still some time to vote. So
now, like Jessica says, can the renter or the future owner request repairs?
Well, you're the bank. If you're a note holder, you're the bank. So can you imagine, would you go to the bank and say, bank, I've got some problems with this property. I need you to come and fix it.
Right.
See, once you become the note holder, you are the bank. So whoever buys the property on a note, they're the owner, right? And so it's their responsibility to fix up the property. However, you stated that you were setting this up as a lease option. So it's a lease until they exercise the option. So during the lease phase of it, yes, you would have to take care of repairs to the property.
All of that, yeah, and all this would be in the contracts, really, yeah, which you would set up
and you would just, hey, look, if you want me to fix this, I'm increasing your note by the same amount. Right? If you're like, well, this water heater needs fixed and it's going to be $5,000, and you can say, you can fix it, right? Or if you want me to fix it, your note is going to go up by $5,000.
That's right. Now, the other thing that we talked about, so,
Lorraine says it's a deal, wraparound mortgage.
there you go. But
Yeah,
then
that's a
also,
good strategy.
like Rose, like, well, dude, there's a lot of headaches, the distance that comes with that. It might not be right for Raul, but and that's kind of what I was thinking too, is like, I don't know.
Well, if I lived in Denver or Colorado Springs, I would seriously consider it because it's not that far.
Right.
I mean, we here in Southern Arizona, we have properties all over Southern Arizona. It's not uncommon for us to drive 2 or 3 hours.
That's right.
To look at some of our properties.
Oh, I just realized something though. If you spent the time negotiating this note with that homeowner, what about just stopping right there? You could literally just stop right there. You got them to the point where they're willing to create a note. You came up with the terms. Could you wholesale that out, make $1,000 maybe, just selling that contract? Could you?
Well, you're the buyer, so you could wholesale it.
Yeah, like wholesale that contract.
But it's a note, so it's not the power of the note isn't in place until you start making payments.
Good point.
So
there it is, that one payment that has to be made.
Right.
Yep. Okay. Before we could sell that.
Right. So you wouldn't technically wholesale it.
So yeah, selling off that note, we would need that one payment for it to actually be officially a note.
Exactly.
What is that called if we sell it off before it actually is?
Well, you start getting into
I forget what that is.
SEC rules of
that's like
you
selling a security.
Yes.
That's what it is. All right.
Yeah. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to get mixed up in any of that. You want it to just be an official note. You don't want to get regulated as a bank or lender or anything like that.
That is right.
All right. Well, this has been great. Deal or no deal. Last week everybody was 100% no deal, and this week it's split
50-50.
Yeah, we have 50, and you know what? That's really where we were on it too, because there's enough in this. Because I'm in Arizona, there's enough about this deal that I'm okay that they turned down. See, my offer was 47,000. So if they want to accept 47,000, I feel really good about that deal. But they didn't. So that didn't go through. And I think they did end up doing a seller finance deal with somebody, but they didn't want to do our seller finance deal. And really, I think that has to do because of being offended by the $47,000 offer. So you've got to, and this was
low cash offers can hurt the feelings.
Well, you have to learn as you go through this process. I was just, brand new, and I'm just like running the numbers and Mr. Math, and I'm saying, hey, I do the math and this is what we can offer you, and not thinking about there's a human being here who's put blood, sweat, tears into building and living in this property, and I'm offering them an insult. I didn't even think about it that way. So another lesson to be learned. You got to be a people person.
Well, folks, that really brings us to the end of our real estate investing mastermind for today. I just want to say happy Independence Day. 1776 was a good year, and go out there and have fun with the family. Go out there, cook yourself something good.
You want to quit your screen share?
Be grateful that we live in the greatest country. Even though we have struggles every single day, there still is no better place to be an entrepreneur, a real estate investor, or business owner. There just isn't. The freedoms that we have and being able to just create the business that you want to create, pursue the passions and the dreams that you want to pursue. There's no other better place to do that. So we encourage you to keep plugging in. And also, if you've tapped into any of our business credit information, or if you want to know more about real estate investing, feel free to reach out to us, Wise Guys and Ties. There's our number, 888-524-9273. Also, we do have literally a sale that ends July 4th, and I just don't think it'll ever be that cheap again. So,
or our business credit book?
Our business credit book, how to build your business credit step by step with 30 underwriting guidelines.
30 credit cards you can get out of
this. 30 credit lines for your business, the underwriting guidelines without using your social security number in honor of Independence Day. So 1776, we're offering it for only $76. Gotta go to our website.
Down from 250.
Yeah, gotta go to the website and get this. And there's actually only a limited supply of 40 of these available. So that's it. Once they're gone, they're gone. So other than that, happy 4th, everybody. And we will see you next Tuesday for Credit Banking Mastermind, where what are we going over next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, we're actually going over the actual credit banking method.
So we've been working budget for the last few weeks, and also we went over lines and loans, which was really math heavy this last week. And so now it's actually the movement of money and how that all works.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you tune into that. Other than that, for myself, Ray Fleming, and Joseph Smith, good night.
God bless.
And God bless.